Hello. Just wanted to clear the energy for this very exciting video that I'm about to do. Today I'm talking about sound codes. So I've talked about codes, like the basic what are codes, in another video, and focusing on sound codes. Sound codes are when you speak, when you sing, obviously, when you do any tonal vibration. And let's dive in. So this is a picture of a musical staff, and the video that I did about coding, I drew a picture of what reality is, and in that picture, it is just a big wave, right? And so reality is all made of frequency. So the musical staff is that giant wave broken up into all of the different frequencies, levels of frequencies, and we put dots, different types of dots, on this musical staff, on this wave, to create different frequencies, different tones, different songs. So to relate sound in this video, I'm going to relate it to the body, the human body, how we can use it as a tool, as a magical tool to create our reality. And also to heal our bodies if that is the case, or to interact with other energies in our field and be able to balance them, be able to flow through emotions, be able to handle difficult situations, that sort of thing. So I drew up front here, up top here, a musical staff, and the musical staff is made out of, it's not normally wavy on a piece of music, but it is just a bunch of lines, and to see them out in the universe, to see them in your body, would be to see them all as moving lines that are all different frequencies, all different tones of differing levels. So, or dimensions, however you want to call it. So, when you are toning, when you're using your voice, when you're reading or you're singing a piece of music, you are taking something that has been written, some sort of reality, some sort of idea, some sort of emotion, some energy, basically just an energy that you are expressing. And when you express this energy, it goes out into your electrical field and reverberates back to you and goes out through across the cosmos, right? So it's a tool for creating reality. So like the idea of abracadabra, I create as I speak. To get into just the musical staff in general, just to kind of show the different codes that are there, that are codes of the universe. They're literally just reflections of the universe. So we've got a treble clef and a bass clef. The treble clef has this sort of shape to it, which is the shape that is known as the symbol as choku-rei. It's also the type of movement that happens when you go from the first dimension, or all that is the consciousness, cosmic consciousness, source, God, goddess. So that is that first line, and that's that first line up on the treble clef. And then the movement is everything that comes after that, is the reality that's created after that. And also the choku-rei, which it just feels like the choku-rei and the treble clef have a similar energy code. And the choku-rei itself, this guy here, if you were to lengthen that vertical line, it would potentially look like a music note. And then the bass clef is kind of like it's a half a heart with a colon. And to me, I think that this feels like the torus, which is your energy field, 8th dimension, the matrix, the energy field that we're all in. It looks something like that. And I think that bass clef is showing this is the torus, how it loops like this, and the 2 colons are the 2 roots, the root to the cosmos and root to Earth, and those 2 are what the torus, what the kind of like the input output of the torus is. So these tones that are within the electromagnetic field, within the matrix, within the torus, all of those are connected to those specific energies depending on where they land frequency-wise. So this is basically coding via sound. It's a sound code for reality. And when we use these sound codes, like when I'm speaking now, my voice has a certain tone, has a certain frequency, and it is creating my reality because it is putting frequency waves out into my reality, out from me, and coming back around into the torus and back around to the core of my being, the core of all that is. So these codes are literally the sounds of the universe that we have correlated to the different notes on a scale, or I'm going to talk about solfège. And when we do that, we connect ourselves with that energy. We are aware of the subtle energy that you can actually hear it. So it's not just subtle, it is a physical energy that you are hearing as well. And you're able to code reality that way, decode reality that way, recode reality that way. It's like the idea of, I talked about this too in the codes video, about like water. If you put sound with water, you can create all different types of images. You can create all kinds of paths that it'll take. So you can control it. And when you are using your voice, you are creating all these energetic patterns that you're putting into your reality, and they're going to go through the torus, the matrix, and they're going to come back, and So when we know how to use these tones, and we know that these tones exist and that they literally can be applied to any type of energy in the universe, as long as we have the ability to vocalize, as long as we have a throat, then we can use our throat to create codes, sound codes for reality. So that's exactly what we're going to get into with solfège, because solfège is a fabulous tool. It's like a tool within a tool to help us as humans connect these tones, and so then we can mash all the tones up and create something new with them without getting confused, right? You know that this note is this note, and you know how to find this note from this note. You can decode and rearrange things and create, a beautiful melodic flower out of it, instead of maybe a chaotic jumble of notes that don't create anything cohesive. Same situation when you speak. If you're not speaking in a clear way, and you don't know where you're going with those words, or the energy that you're using, how is it going to come back to you in a way that is going to be coherent for you? So with solfège, let's begin on solfège. So remember Sound of Music with beautiful Dame Julie Andrews, one of my favorite people ever. Love her. Okay. The song, the Do Re Mi song in that, which most people know Solfege, Do Re Mi from that song, is when she starts that song where she's like, let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. When you read, you begin with A, B, C, but when you sing, you begin with Do Re Mi. So what I've done here is I've related the solfege to the chakras of the body, and they can also be related to the different energy bodies as well, and different dimensions as well. You can kind of take this all different directions. So I've drawn the energy body in this light green, and the body itself, the physical body, is the middle light green as well. And this energy body is the Taurus. It's just how that energy moves, and how it moves in the world. So the body, the top of the body and the bottom of the body are the exit point and entry point of the energy that is coming through the system, coming through the EMF, the electromagnetic field, coming through the Taurus, coming through the matrix. So these entry and exit points are at the top and the bottom of the body, like I said, and they're what is open to the universe, the cosmos. And I drew them as the black hole and white hole that is related in the body. The black hole and white hole of the body is what I intuitively feel connects in these places. So both of these points I've labeled as Do, and they are also both the root. And that is because you have a root going down and a root coming up. And they're both plugging you in. They're both, this is you. This is you when you split and become a multi-cell organism and start to become a human, all those things. And those are your 2 points that are constantly intaking and pushing out energy. And so they are both rooted to the cosmos all around that your energy field is in, or the void space that it is in. So for that reason, both Does could also be looked at as the connection to heaven or the cosmos, and then connection to earth or the void. And then let's move up the energy body. Okay, so let's start at the bottom and work our way up. So the bottom, like I said, is Do, and it is the root chakra. Then we have Re, which is the sacral chakra. And then we have Mi, which is the solar plexus. And Fa, which is the heart. Sol, which is the throat. La, which is the third eye. Ti, which is the crown. And Do, which is the top of the energy field, which connects back down to the Do, the root of the bottom of the energy field. And I've drawn this out so that you can see how this looks when the frequencies move up and up and up. They go up the colors of the rainbow. They go up in frequency, so that is related to those colors, sounds, tones, the pitches, the higher, lower pitch. Another thing is that the torus of the body has all of these layers of energy fields, and that I felt could correlate to the musical staff where it also has all these different lines, layers of tones and frequencies. And so I went ahead and put little dots to signify tones, notes on each of those correlating frequencies, so that you can get an idea when we're looking at the energy field. You have this coil coming all the way up you, right? You've got this whole energetic coil that is your body, that it actually is what is making up your body. And then the energy field that is being pushed out from your body and being taken in from your body. And that is the field that is where your words go out into. It's the field that when you're having, you're maybe talking to someone who's having a bad day and you can feel their energy, it's because you have an idea already. Before talking to this person, you have an idea of where your frequencies are in your electromagnetic field. However much coherency or consciousness you have about that depends, right? But some part of you, biologically, your brain is constantly telling you, this is what the senses are saying, this is what the senses are saying. So whether or not you're conscious of that, the brain is taking in and storing all of that information. So it literally knows about all of these tones that are happening in your field at any point in time. It's just about if you want to pay attention. So when you are around someone that has a different energy than you do, you can feel that change of energy happening because your fields, I drew this on the side here to show that these fields interact. And I should actually have probably put a bunch of like if someone's talking, this is the energy field of someone talking. So they've got all these like maybe scattered energies coming through your energy field. So if you interact with that and you aren't fully aware of where your energies are, or you're not centered, you're not feeling like aligned in that coil, then you're gonna feel maybe moved by that energy or stifled by that energy. And at that point, it's like, we gotta be able to take care of ourselves. We gotta be able to take care of not just our physical body, but our energetic bodies, all of our energetic bodies, because we're not just this body. Even more so, we're more like a giant orb, of energy. So when you interact with people and you have maybe a situation where you were at a higher frequency and they came in and put you down at a lower, or felt like it put you down at a lower frequency, or you were interacting with their lower frequency, that is something that you could consider an interference wave, right? So it's an interference wave. It's causing some sort of interference in your field. And that causes distortion, confusion. This is an idea that I got from Iztak Bentov, but his book is Stalking the Wild Pendulum, and he goes all into interference waves versus resonant systems. And that really helps with this idea to understand how exactly your energy fields interact with the rest of the cosmos. So on the other side of things, if you are, at your certain energy and you meet someone that has an energy that just like perfectly blends with yours, and you guys are like, you're hitting all the tones together, you're seeing eye to eye. That's that idea of seeing eye to eye. You could say that whole idea of seeing eye to eye comes from the energetic feeling of my energy level all the way up here, my high T energy, my law energy is all the way up here, and someone's matching that with me and we're seeing eye to eye. So then you have a resonant wave or a resonant system happening. So between the two of you, you've created a resonant system. You are experiencing resonant waves between the two. Or also in your body, when you have your you're centered, you're aligned, your energy is cohesive and coherent and clear, then you're also a resonant system yourself. And I really wanted to point out the throat chakra specifically, because of course the throat chakra is what is creating sound codes for us. It's us creating sound codes through the tool of the throat. So Sol means sun. And I was thinking about this idea of your throat having the code of sun, of it being a sun. And to sing is to shine. When you sing, when you tone, when you speak, to speak is to shine, right? That is you shining. That is you putting out your energy into the world. It's literally, like you putting your energy out and shining. And this made me think about this Aesop fable, which is called The North Wind and the Sun. And basically, it's a story about the wind versus the sun. So polarity, right? The idea of this person versus, or this idea versus this idea, this being versus this being, and fighting, and the polarity of it. So the story is that the sun and the wind were arguing about who is more powerful. And so they decide to test this out by finding a person walking on the street with a coat on. And they challenge each other to be the one to get the guy or the person to take the coat off. And the wind goes first, and the wind is blowing as hard as it can, and the more that it blows, the more that this person is holding tightly to their coat. And then the sun comes out and shines, and the person takes off their coat. So this is a fable that shows how powerful the sun is. So I wanted to draw out this idea, and when I did, I found that I put the wind and the sun as two polarizing dots on a line, right? The two that are polarized. And in order to create alchemy, in order to transcend this polarity, and in order to create reality, the third dot has to be added to create a triangle to create what you want, right? You're completing a shape. You're completing a shape so that, which is the first shape of the universe, and Platonic solid, first Platonic solid. And when you create this shape, you can use that fire, right? You can use that water, fire energy and create reality. So what I put for the third dot was your voice. In this situation, that third dot is your voice. The way that you can get beyond the polarity here is to use your voice to blend everything together and to have a creation come out of that. A creation that is sound, a creation that is frequency of tone. And so yeah, your voice is literally creating reality via frequencies. And these are the frequencies that I'm talking about when I talk about that. So now I want to touch on how we can use this information for ourselves in mundane ways, in ways that the more that you build this muscle, the more that you play with this code or these codes and create reality via these codes, which you're doing all the time anyway, just by speaking. But when you're understanding this information and you decide to play with it, or to use it to heal, or to use it for all those ways that I described earlier, then we're able to literally do magic. Yeah. So I wanted to get into that. I also wanted to say too that I feel that especially for people who have dealt with a lot of trauma, or, you know, who have a lot of trauma, which we all do, it feels that the throat has specifically been kind of shut down in such a way, or distorted, or watered down via our language. So claiming this magic of your voice and this power of your voice can be done beyond just speaking. And in fact, if you use it without having to put words to it, and you're just using your tones, you're just kind of letting your intuition, your body do whatever needs to do, to whatever sounds need to come out. Even just doing that allows you to move this energy in such a powerful way. And I think that we are, as a society, have been kind of censored in this way. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, I'm not a perfect singer, so I can't sing. Or people will say that they can't sing, but really they're perfectly great at hitting tones. You know, there's just a lot of stigma around perfect pitch, things like this. And it tends to feel like an elitist situation. So I'm really passionate about helping people to feel like they absolutely can use their voice in such a way where you are strengthening a muscle. The more that you use this muscle, and you know, let's say that you don't have perfect pitch, or you can't even hit a note, the more that you try to hit that note, and there's all kinds of fun ways of doing that, which Solfege is a fabulous way to use that. But there's all kinds of ways, you know, if you think about a note and it's like too low sounding when you sing it, and you're like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out how to make it sound, how do I get that note up? Well, you can do things like thinking about colors. You can do things about like thinking about dark and light, heavy and light. You can think about different adjectives and different energies you can put onto the muscle of your voice, that energy that's coming out of you, and you can train it to hit the note that you're trying to hit. And also, it's just change your mindset so that you can use this muscle. Change your mindset so that you can use it as a tool. Don't get embarrassed about it. Don't censor yourself about it. If you have to do it in the shower away from everybody, great. But your body's gonna thank you for it, because you are tuning into your energy field by doing that. And the more that you strengthen the ability to hit these tones and to feel coherent in those tones, and once you correlate that with the body, there's so many things you can do with that. You can literally heal your magnetic field if you ever need to. You can take an interference wave that comes in, some kind of energy that you don't want, and you will be able to balance that energy out just because you know solfege and how it works in your body. It literally will just do it for you, because you're stepping into that power and you're holding those frequencies. And when you can tone them out loud is when you know that you've got them inside your body, right? Okay, so I wanted to demonstrate some of this, this idea. Yeah. So what we can do is we can take something that makes a tone, preferably something that you can kind of hold onto your body in some way. So like a sound bowl, any sort of toning that you can do, so that you have a tone that you can connect with. And when I do this, whatever tone the instrument or thing that I'm using to create noise with, the sound with, that tone is do. So that tone becomes the root. It becomes the bottom note in the scale. So this is a scale on the musical staff, and there's all different types of scales, and this is a major scale. It has no funky things happening in the time or the key signature, which would be if there's like sharps and flats, which create different key signatures, and then there's all different types of scales, and yeah, so there's lots of different directions you can go with this. But basically, whenever I use an instrument, I am going to use that tone as do. So another great tool that is fabulous for this is a tuning fork. Also just fabulous for the frequencies of your body to be able to help with balance or centering yourself. So this one here is a C, so I know that this tuning fork has do as C, because that's what the root is. So I have drawn out what that looks like here, what the scale is that we're going to practice with now. And that is to start do at C, which starts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it, and I'm going to end up putting it down down by my root chakra, my pelvis, like the bone, the pelvic bone. Go ahead and put it there, and that's going to be your do. And then we'll move up to the sacral chakra. You're just going to hit all the chakras with the bottom of the handle of the tuning fork. If you were going to do it with with like a singing bowl, you just have to just move it in front of your body. Make it work for you, right? However you feel like you want to do it. Since this is going to be do as you go up, if you're new to this, you might just want to hit do and do it at the bottom chakra, your root chakra, and then just hang on to it until you get to your top do and then hit it again, just so that it doesn't confuse you when you're trying to go up the scales, up the notes of the scale. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. And again, this is to balance, to center. And when you have these notes, these tones memorized, or you have them your muscle memory of it, because it is just a muscle memory of it. Once that happens for you, and you probably already have it, honestly, you just don't even realize what you got it. And once you know that, let's say you're walking around and something happens where your solar plexus hurts real bad, you get like a stomach ache or something. I don't know. Something happens where your energetic body, your chakra, is needing attention in some space. What you could do is, if you have a tuning fork or you have something that's going to make sound for you, you can use that to find do and go all the way up to that chakra that needs whatever healing is needed, or whatever energetic interference that's needed. You can do that. As well as if you, again, have this in your head, and it doesn't matter if you're on the right pitch, no one's gonna care, it's not a big deal. You can just say, okay, this is do. It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. Whatever it is, you just have to use the scales from there and correlate it with your body and hold that tone. So again, if it was the solar plexus, I would sing my way up to me. I would find my do, feel centered, plug into your do. So you're plugging into your root, your two big roots. And then you are toning that do and make your way up to me. When you get up to me, hang on to that note, let it totally infiltrate, imbue, infuse, integrate that area of your body, and go from there, because you might find that it's going to end up doing some really magical things for you. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that. Okay. Beginning with humming really helps to put this energy from your throat. It comes up through your head, through your nose, and it starts to circulate. So you can really get an idea of how it's circulating in your body that way. That's why I start that way. Do, re, mi, which mi reminds me of core star. Mi, so you could think that's the sound of my core star. Mi, fa, wa. And try, move your mouth around. Fa. If you need to move your hand so that you can move this energy, this tone that you're creating, do that. That's exactly what you need to be doing to move this frequency and to create the reality with it. Okay, so fa, double check. Do, re, mi, fa, so. Try different vowels as well. All different vowels will change the tone completely. So A, E, I, O, U, change it, use it when you're toning these, and you can get completely different nuances in there so that maybe you need a specific nuance for whatever specific energy you're trying to create or work with. So a way that you could put that into, you could exercise that is, that's the third eye, that la, that's your third eye, right? And so let's say you're like, oh man, I really want to vision or have a vision of this certain reality that I'm trying to create, or this feeling that I'm trying to create, or I'm trying to heal this thing. So I'm going to imagine it being healed through my third eye. When you do that, if you have this tone and you use it, then you are able to add another layer to that magic to really get something alchemized. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And it's kind of perfect that T is the crown, because when you sing T, again with the different vowels, the different vowels that you can use, they're going to change the tone. And with T, it's a dart. It's very the I vowel is going to give you that very poignant sound. And with the crown, it's just, it's busting out into the cosmos, right? So that's your royal spot. That's where your like unicorn energy, your oh, that's a good thing to think of, actually, is to think about having a unicorn horn. That was something that I remember as a kiddo being taught, like, yeah, to use your unicorn horn to tone, use tone to focus the tone. That's it. Okay, yeah, okay, and then we're back to do. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And so when you think about octaves, when people talk about octaves, you can literally do this with your voice. You can literally use your understanding and your inner hearing of an octave range. And if there's an energy down here at this octave, you can match it at its higher octave. You don't have to match it down here if you know how to get from here to here, which is to go from do to do, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? Cool. Sound codes. Okay, so I think that's all I'm gonna dive into for this video, and I'm sure there will be more. Thank you so much for watching.